Hi, Fiona.
Hi, Fiona.
Hey, Jamie and Jess.
There you go.
Hey.
Hi.
So you might hear some conversation in the background. Just ignore it.
Okay. I don't
Sounds
hear
good.
anything right now, so hopefully the filters are high.
Okay, perfect. I am not at home, but I'm doing my best.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's
We're
my
just
pleasure. Thank
having a
you for asking me. I was very excited.
yeah. So we were going to start with an intro. Here's Fiona, and Fiona has offered up a ebook of your choice. And so the way that we do this is we've picked a number. Kaz has it written down, and so whoever comes closest to that number will be the winner of their choice of one of Fiona's ebooks. So if you guys want to send that to Kaz, I think we said
Yeah.
send that to Kaz, and she will tally all of the guesses, and we'll announce the winner. And thank you so
And
much, Fiona,
and
for
I'll give
offering.
away two, so I can like whoever,
Ah,
whatever system you have, I'll just say two, $2. Winner.
oh,
Okay.
okay, awesome.
Okay, that's just melted my brain a bit because of maths.
So whatever two people are closest to the number that we picked beforehand will be the ones that can pick a book.
Cool.
Already got questions starting to pour in here.
Yeah, so have I.
Or
Okay,
The number range is
zero
one
to 30.
0 to 30.
Yes, sorry.
Thanks, Jen.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat and get here. The announcement. Sorry about that, guys. 0 to 30. So whoever's closest to the number in the range of 0 to 30. Two people. Are we ready to get started on questions?
Yep.
Yeah. You okay if I okay, Jess. So the first question I have is how did you get into writing and how long have you been doing it?
how we're getting to writing. I think it's my mom's fault. Like she read to me when I was in her belly, and when I got out of the belly, she read to me all the time. And so it just made sense for me to want to write similar stories as I grew older. And, the stories, grew in spiciness as I grew up as a, person. But yeah, she instilled in me this love of like writing and reading and creating my own stories.
Awesome.
In terms of how long I've been writing or publishing since like, what is that? 2000 and 2000 maybe? 2001?
Mhm.
Yeah, I had some stories published in like Best Lesbian Erotica back in the 2000s. And then, things just went from there.
Awesome. And another part is how do you decide what to write next?
Um, just something that occurs to me randomly. Like, I tend to just get inspiration just walking around in the world. Um, for instance, I just got back from afternoon English tea at the Ritz in Madrid, and it was like ridiculous, like opulent and wonderful and beautiful, fresh flowers everywhere. And so I had 1,000 stories just like bing, 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 bing in my mind, just like watching people walk by in their like designer this and that. People walk by in their just like very normal clothes. Just it was a very ripe atmosphere for creativity, and so just doing everyday things like that would spark an idea, spark a story.
That's awesome. I've got some questions.
Lay it
Uh,
on me.
I've got one here from Carrie. Will there be a book about the mayor and ballerina in the future?
I didn't plan on it, and the mayor ended up being more interesting than I planned. But what I'm sort of working on now in the background is a book about Quinn.
Oh, the X.
Yes, the ex.
Why? No
Well,
offense to Quinn or
there were
anyone.
some strong feelings about the X's.
We've got some strong feelings about the
Oh,
exes.
really? Okay. Interesting. Well, I don't know. Like after I left the story, something about her just seemed sort of like sad and in need of redemption. And she's not a nice person, but I also feel like she needs some discipline, and that is where my mind was going. Like the idea of like a small town BDSM rom-com starring Quinn.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
I could actually see that. I could see
I can
from
I
that
can see
aspect,
that.
I could see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, in my planning stages, like someone, saw her and was like, she needs taking in hand. And that's how sort of the wheels are turning about this potential sequel.
Mhm.
That goes really well into another question we've got. What's your favorite character to write or in general in this book?
Oh, in this book. Hmm. In general, I like to write people who are just so opposite to me. So, but also too, like I really liked writing Eve because she was just so bubbly and so natural. And the word effervescent just popped into my mind just thinking about her. And even though she's not completely opposite my personality, I loved almost every line that I wrote of hers. Like I would usually be really drawn to, like a really intense masculine type, um, who gives orders and likes to wear, interesting clothing. But for some reason, just like Eve was a joy to create and to be with for the time that I was writing the book.
Great. I think this might fit in, but just in case there's more expansion other than characters, Frankie was asking what was the favorite part to write of this book overall?
Oh, the favorite part to write. I really liked the creating this idea of the town, how it came to be and how it is and how beautiful it is that it was, founded by formerly enslaved Black people, and how, they just sort of stopped and just landed and created. I really enjoyed that. And in another sort of version of it, I expanded on that the idea of the town, but felt it was just giving too much background that would get in the way of the story itself. But I really enjoyed creating that idea, the foundation of the town, and that it was just this prosperous um, Black town in California.
And so does that we've had okay. Is it a real town? And if not, is it based on a real, I mean, there's been several, as we know in the States, Black communities and Black towns that have tried to develop that we won't even go into what
What
horrors happen. But
Yeah. So
based on that, or is it a real
that. Yeah, there've been some I've read about the histories of certain Black towns and the success they found, and then the pushback from the larger community and things like that. Just sort of like I want to write a town with that beginning that remained prosperous and remained alive and remained thriving. And so it's
awesome?
sort of like a mixture of different towns I've read about throughout the years, and it's not based on any real place.
Awesome. Jess.
Um, I've got a whole bunch here. How do you write kids? Sorry, braining. How do you write kids and single parenting so well?
Oh my God, accidentally. I don't have children. I am not a parent, but there are kids like peppered around. And so they're adorable. And I think it was just sort of like completely accidental. Like I imagined what a child of Scarlet would be like. And I also am a sort of addict of TikTok. And so sometimes some things about like single parenting would pop up, or something like, I won't actually say that because that's kind of gross. Like I was hanging out with my mom once and then something happened and she was like, "Oh, I'll clean that up." And I'm like, "Are you joking?" And so some things that parents would like think nothing of dealing with, And I'm like, that I'm not gonna go into detail, but let's just say it was something was really nasty. And someone who has no child would be like, I can't even ponder just, like how you think that it's no big deal to clean up after your child and yet or eat after your child. And it just seems so particular to parenting. You know what I mean? It seems like, I don't know, gross, but at the same time, such a almost like really sweet, tierno part of parenting. I don't know, but yeah, it was all accidental and just gleaned from things that I've seen around and my obsessive TikTok watching.
Jade made a comment saying, that's extremely impressive that you've done it accidentally. I love it. Very observant.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think parents who do such an amazing job with kids, they should be given the world because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Ugh.
So
It's
on the
true, and I
topic,
think oh,
oh,
I
I've
was
got
just
a
I was just
question
gonna
about
say
link.
oh I was just gonna comment on what she said. I was just
Yeah,
gonna
go.
say for the parents that are here or out there, it's like you do things that you never thought you would ever do. You could clean up things that you never thought that you would touch. That
Oh
you're
my
running for. So you nailed it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was very organic. And I wrote the book maybe in like a month or two. And so when all that came to me so fluidly and so like vividly, I was so grateful. Like they're books that I fight to finish, but this was not one of them.
You bashed this out in 2 months.
Yeah.
Whew, that's impressive.
It used to be like I had struggled with other things too, but like with writing the original version of the book for like a year and a half. And then I just couldn't go any further with that version. And so I tossed the whole thing in the trash, including the names of the characters. And the only thing that stayed was single mom, tutor, and child. And then I did like an outline and then I finished it in a month and was determined to like get it done and wrote the chapters, edited the chapters. And so by the time the month ended, the story was done. And I don't think I've done this before. And it was an experience. I was impressed with myself, but also like impressed by how well it turned. Like I love this book. Like it's so joyful to me. And um it may not be in the level of things I've written before, but it just feels it feels good.
I've got a comment by Kristen Zimmer saying, I'm jealous, super impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've got some more questions, or have you got a bucket full of questions as well, Jamie?
I have a couple, and I think one that follows up with the timing of the writing. If okay.
I've got one related to the parenting. Is that okay? And then I'll hand it over.
Sure.
Cool. Do the characters come first, or does the overall plot come first?
The plot. Because I could have a plot and then the characters that sort of surge out of that could have been completely different. Like, let me try to remember. Because I know Eve came to me in a flash. Like her character came to me just like fully developed and like there's this bubbly bunny of a girl and she's in this story. So the plot came to me and then Eve came fully formed. And yeah, it went well.
Definitely did. Jamie?
Yeah. So I've got a couple of questions. Based on what you were saying about the timing, and several people mentioned a word count. And was there and why was there a word count, and how does that limit or assist you in your writing?
So with this book, it was definitely a word count because I felt pressed for time. Um, I had the old book and it was what it was. But I knew if I was going to finish a book in a month, and have it be like complete, I had to have a certain kind of plot, and I also had to work within a certain word count. And so when I plotted out the book, I wrote that it couldn't be any more than 55,000 words to be able to manage to write that much at the speed that I write now and have it be done in a month.
Okay. Then I have one from Rosalind Sinclair. If you could expand on any scene, what would it be?
Probably something really boring like the scene at the pool with the best friends and the kids playing, and it just felt like a little snapshot of paradise.
Mm.
We love that scene. I've got some questions. Everyone is obsessed and really impressed, so please, this is a lot. A lot of questions like this. Jodel's asked, how many hours a day did you write? 2 months is very fast and has blown my mind.
Oh, let's see. Um, how many hours? I actually don't know because I'm very lazy and I get up at like, 10. And then here lunchtime is at 2, and lunchtime is about like 2 hours. And then there's siesta time. And so I don't finish working until maybe like between 8 and 10 o'clock in the evening. So what I did really was like at that time, 2,000 minimum per day, per writing day, Monday through Friday. Um, so I actually don't know how many hours I wrote, but I had a word count max or minimum that I had in my mind per day. So I might have like woken up at 10, had my coffee, pondered, and said, okay, if I do these 2,000 words, I'll take off and go for a walk in the park or whatever it may be. But I used to do, what is this thing called? What is it? 10K? No, 1K per hour, where you do 1,000 words in an hour, right? Yeah, it's like the sprint thing, the sprinting hashtag. And so theoretically, you can do 2,000 words in 2 hours. But things, I would write the chapter and then take a break and then come back and edit it, tighten it, and then move on. So by the time that the time ended, my month and a half, 2 months, that I had a very tight, almost perfect chapter. So I'm not organized enough to even keep track of things like that.
That links quite well to our next question. Do you have a writing partner slash use alpha or beta readers?
I have a writing partner. Let's see. I have 3 people in my life who are writers, and I have regular contact with them every often, one every day, and we text and like amp each other up. And then my writing partner, Cherie in Tampa, who gives a lot of support, and she just had a baby, so she's having less time to deal with things. But like when I would finish a book or be at a certain point in a book, she would read it and give me her honest feedback. Sometimes the feedback is like, this is trash, start over, or whatever it may be. And so she's like invaluable. She's like, I don't know what I do without her. And then I have someone else who reads like, my synopses and tells me, does this make sense? Is this interesting? Cherie would be really my beta reader, but I'm probably looking for 1 or 2 right now, but I don't have one per se. Oh, Kia has been my beta reader a couple of times. My friend Kia, she's amazing. She gives me great feedback too. So I think I need more beta readers, but right now it's just me and the others.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Jamie?
So I'm going to start. We have a comment from Frankie saying that she loves your excitement about this book with hearts. So, yeah. And then I have this one's gosh, we're on YouTube, so I'm going to change the word. Screw these exes. How did you make them so awful? Is this from personal experience?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Is that true? They're both pretty fictional. I'm like rewinding. Um, I mean, there are some things taken here and there from real people, but for the most part, let me get rid of that. For the most part, fictional, fictional, fictional. But I'm glad you thought they
Fictional.
were awful. So you don't like Quinn at all, eh?
Well, there was a lot to say about, yeah, there was a lot to say about her and her level of narcissism and willing to put Maya in harm's way, to use her in the way that she was trying to use her. There was a lot of like, fuck off, no, you can't do that to my kid kind of energy going on. So there was that. And then there was also, I think I made a comment about the way that actually Scarlett shut her down about, well, you could buy the house anyway, basically. You could pay for the house anyway and let her know that this was not happening going further toward, as it was winding up and coming around. But yeah, there was a definite vibe and energy about her.
Interesting.
Yes.
I'll keep that in mind because I'm not sure if excited is the right word, but like I'm working on a sequel to my book from a couple of years ago called like House of Agnes. And I fell into like that saggy, untenable, I can't move forward middle. And so to distract myself from that, I was like, oh, maybe I'll plot out a sequel to E Falls First, and it'll be called something like Quinn Doesn't Quit or Quinn Takes Her Cue. And then it'll be about Quinn and from someone who right now is called Angie. So I don't know if I could if she can be redeemed necessarily, but I really want to try, especially with like this Angie who has her in hand a few times in a very like firm way, to try to not even to try to like correct her, but because she sees her and she's like, this woman needs something, needs a firm hand.
Mhm. I just had a comment fly in from iPhone 3, so I don't know it is. Not
Yeah.
everyone deserves a redemption story, and Quinn certainly does not. So that was kind of the vibe, that and wanting to push Abby either in front of a bus or through some type of electrical accident.
Yeah,
A lot of strong
Abby
feelings
definitely
about
was.
that.
Yeah, Abby has like, there's nothing going on there for her in terms of redemption. But Quinn, really nothing, huh?
We did actually discuss it in the book club out of curiosity. Maybe not Quinn, because you evidently want to redeem her, but would you have accidentally pushed them in front of a bus or get them hit by a bolt of electricity? Because we did discuss it in the book club.
No, that didn't cross my mind.
What would you do now then?
Um, I won't say.
There, it's going on YouTube. Okay. Well, I've got some questions here. Moving away from violence, Michaela and Trish are the best friends Scarlett and Eve could wish to ha hope for. And they both help nudge the pair together. Did any of your friends inspire either of these characters?
No.
Quick.
Decisive.
Yeah, no. I feel like, I mean, if I could like look at them sort of objectively, there are pieces of my super amazing friends in them. Um, but yeah, Trish is I don't know what Trish is. She's I love her. And Michaela was I don't know, she also came sort of fully formed, this sort of like mermaid haired, like smart ass, tough talking, but also really caring person that loves to wear like slutty clothes. And I love her. And she is inspired by no one.
Awesome. Just your brainchild.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I'm surprised by the things my mind comes up with, but at the same time, like as we know, like we get all this input from all around, and we don't know what we're taking and what we're sort of like mixing around in there, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
I've got a question here that's from the form by Kristen Zimmer. Do you have a favorite writing ritual, something you do before you sit down and write?
No.
Cool.
Like I have a friend, we actually were just hanging out today. And so she's more formal and more productive than I am, by the way. She has a gratitude journal that she opens up every writing day, and then she writes down all the things she's grateful for. And she does that before she starts, and then she puts on like dance music, and then she dances around her office, and then she starts to work. Um, I do none of that. I procrastinate for a long time. Have my coffee, um, check my email, and then I get to work.
You
Good
just
enough
jump.
ritual?
That could be a ritual,
Mhm.
but I love that Lena does these things. Like she is just so intentional about her work, even though she gets up, relatively late. She just pumps out books, and she's just like she's grateful for being able to do this full time. And she says like vocalizing and writing down her gratitude helps her so much to not focus, for example, on like a bad review or any sort of negative interaction in her writing life or even her life. And then she's like, these things in my life are awesome. Okay, let's get it. Let's do more awesome things. And I love that.
I'm aware of the time, and when we do have some more questions, I'm just checking in with you. Are you okay for a few more questions, or
I'm good.
you good? Okay. So I have one that says, how does this book compare to the other books that you've written, genre-wise, plot-wise, character-wise?
In a sense, it does not compare at all. Much much of a contrast than anything. Like I have never set out before to like deliberately write a rom-com. Um, and this is just came out like a burst of flowers and glitter. Like what the hell? Even the character Eve, like nothing like before. And even just the way this book came about in terms of the speed and the cohesiveness of it, like yeah, like there's nothing that I've written before that is like it. Yeah, a complete contrast to everything I've written before, I feel like.
Yeah. There was a definite sweetness to it in the connections and the way that the friends supported the main characters, and Maya was just awesome with her insight for such a young age and the comments that she, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
like it's such a for me this was a book about healing, I had been dealing with like illness for like a year and plus. And so like writing this book, like creating this book was just this like I don't know, sunshine and warmth and all of these things that I needed at the time that I just had to feel that I had to create for myself after the bleakness of the past previous few months. So yeah, no comparison.
so I have a follow-up to that from Kaz. Are we going to get more books like this, or was it a unicorn?
So like I mentioned before to everyone's non-delights, I'm thinking about doing a Quinn follow-up. Um and you know how she is. And so the her love interest came to me sort of like fully formed in a certain sense. And so like they don't have a similar sense of humor to Eve, but they have this sort of like what is this? Not cynicism, but like they don't take anything too seriously. And so I imagine a lot of like one-liners coming from them. And as much as like a Dom can be, but also not a dom that's like, get on your knees, you know, like, ah. So I guess, yeah, I think I can sort of redeem Quinn, but I guess, I mean, I'll take a poll in my newsletter.
That's a good
But
idea.
Well,
I think
Jen
that's
has
a
a comment about the whole Quinn situation. She's giving you an idea for something else.
besides having her get hit by a bus.
Well, besides getting hit, well, kind of. It gets dark, but here we go from Jen. A book about Scarlett's daughter, all grown up and exploring her sexuality and finding love while putting her evil mother in her place would be more up my alley. Maybe even the evil one dies.
Oh my gosh, Quinn hates. I'll definitely have to do a poll.
I don't know if you're ready for the poll, actually. You better,
Yeah, I'm getting an idea.
meditate and breathe
Gonna...
before.
Oh, hang on. Hell says, I love a good redemption arc, so I'd love to see Quinns. So there you go.
Somebody, thank you.
I've got a question here from Carrie Bird. Which one of your books is your favorite and why?
Oh gosh. So I really love, I'm not going to include this one. I really loved House of Agnes. And that came out like with Ilva as well, like 2-3 years ago, whatever it was. And I loved it because it was so hard to write. It was hard to write and it was painful, but also when it was done, I thought it was pretty damn good. Obviously, my editor, Lee Winter, whipped into shape because how it was before and how it was after, it was just like night and day. But I really loved how it transformed during the course of our back and forth, and also from what it was, because it had so many jewels in it. Like it had pieces that were wonderful, but the whole thing didn't shine. But when she was done with it, it was just like, ah! But yeah, I went through all the emotions with that book. Like I hated it, I loved it, I was nervous about it, and then when it came out, people were like talking about it, and it got the reviews, and the translation even was amazing. I just loved it, and so it put me through a lot, and I love the damn thing.
Well, we actually got a comment related to the whole redemption, and you just mentioned Lee Winter. Rosalind said, well, Michelle Hastings was a redemption arc, so let's see where Quinn goes.
There we go. There we go. Yes, I'm not as good as Lee, but I will try with Quinn. Like we'll see about the poll, but like I'm really excited about Angie and the things that she's thinking about, even though she's just sort of being formed in my outline.
Awesome. I'm very conscious of the time. Are you okay for 2 more questions?
Yeah.
One from me and one from Jamie?
Yeah.
Then we'll do the giveaway. Cool.
Good.
So if you had a choice, would you want Eve Falls First to be turned into a movie or a TV show? And who would play your core four? So that's Eve, Scarlett, Maya, wait, I can't count, Trish, and Michaela. So 5.
I would love for it to be a film because it's just so also really mostly PG-13, right? More or less. And I don't follow too many actors, so I literally don't know. Maybe what's that girl called? The one who was the Little Mermaid?
Ariel?
Hailey Bailey?
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey.
I can see her doing justice to Eve. Yeah, that's about it. Like I haven't watching as much TV as I should. So I don't even know actors anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
That could be a poll as well.
Yeah, it could be. Like, sorry about the dud of an answer, but I wish I watched more TV and could give you like who are these people doing things now? Not a clue.
Cool. Okay, Jamie, last
Yeah, so
question.
I have a question of how do you like to interact with your readers and how did you build your Instagram following?
I have no IG following. You've probably seen that. There's nobody over there. It's a ghost town.
Mostly
Um,
Facebook.
I love emails. I love DMs. I love like the random comments on my social media posts. Like anything. Like it's so easy to be writing and just feel like you're writing into a void. I mean, yes, it's wonderful to get the reviews as well. But sometimes people like censor themselves in the reviews, right? When they put them on, whether it's like Goodreads or whatever. But like when I get like a direct message or an email, it pulls me closer to that person, but also to like sort of like gives me that reinforcement that what I'm doing is like touching real people. You know, even if someone's like, "Oh, um, I liked this, I liked your book, but what's up with that person?" Or, you know, why couldn't you have written about this person instead? You know, that I love your books, even with the, you know, whatever negative thing, like give it to me, all of it. The direct communication, I love it. So email is always great, and people like DM me on TikTok, on Facebook, um, sometimes on IG, but I'm not as active on IG as I probably should be.
Okay. So I think we're gonna, is there anything else, Jess? Or are we gonna go to the, oh,
You
well, you kind of answered that question where we can find you on mostly Facebook, emails, and direct messages.
I am
So
on, yeah, TikTok, IG, Facebook, and yeah, always emails.
cool. Okay, so I'm going to now hand over to the lovely Kaz, who is going to announce our two winners. Ta-da!
Okay. So we picked a number. I put it in this little paper. Let's see if I can do a little. It was 25. And then we've got Rach was really close, 24, you guessed. And Emma Casey was the next with 20. So if you both could please send me your email in the chat, then we'll make sure we'll connect you with Fiona and you can pick a book. Is that okay?
Yes, check out my email. Check out my website and see if any of those appeal to you. Any of those books over there, and then let me know which one you want.
Wow.
Want to
Very
announce?
generous. Thank you so much, Fiona.
Oh, you're welcome.
Really cool. I wish I could have done that.
Do you want to say your full email address? Your full
Website?
website for YouTube?
My website is FionaZedde.com. I can spell FIONAZEDDE.com. And you can email me at f.z@gmail.com. Even if you forget the dot, Gmail will send it to me.
Ooh.
f.z@gmail.com, FionaZedde.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
So,
you.
our next book club is going to be Melissa Braden. So, keep your eyes peeled on our socials for
June
more.
7. June 7.
See, maths. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.